So what's up, it's your Screwed here, and today I'll be bringing you guys a new video. But before the video, I'd like you guys to check out my Discord. Over there you can check out channel updates, Pokémon GO updates, as well as engage with over 5,000 members from my community. If you're looking for someone to add you as a friend so that you can get that sweet experience, or if you're looking for someone to raid with, definitely go check it out. Let's move on to the video. Today we will be discussing the differences between FGL Pro and PGSharp. We will talk about the pros and cons of each application, compare the two, and then in the end I'll finally give my recommendation as to which one you should use. So, let's start with FGL Pro. FGL Pro is a free app that can be found on the Google Play Store. It's easy to download, it's simple to use, and it also gives instructions on how to use it, which allows it to be very user-friendly. It's more developed and has a larger user base, mainly because it's been around for almost 2 years, 2 or 3 years actually, and which means that it's more developed. It has more opportunities, as well as more people using it, and thus it's less likely that Niantic will actually ban people who use it. There's more options when spoofing. One of the things that I liked about FGL Pro back when I used it was it allowed me to change altitude while playing the game, which meant that I could I could pretend to be more natural, and it would look more legit if Niantic ever went through my records of where I'd been, right? The final pro of FGL Pro is the fact that it gives soft ban times. One of the things that, and it's built in, like it's colored green and colored red when it tells you whether you can capture Pokemon or spin PokéStops. Which is very intuitive, obviously. And this is one of the things that is my main gripe about PGSharp, that it's not very obvious when you do it. If you go to PGSharp and you go to map, it only shows like if you press a location, it only shows cooldown 2 minutes. It doesn't show how long you have currently waited to get to that time. There's no countdown timer, but for FGL Pro there is. Those are the pros for FGL Pro. Some of the cons that I have for FGL Pro is the delay on the joystick. Back when I used it a year ago or 6 months ago, the delay on the joystick was pretty insane. You would have to, because of course it would take time for Google Play services to actually have to manually change your location on maps, which meant that there's like a 2 to 3 second delay sometimes, which could cause either Pokemon GO to crash or FGL Pro to crash, which was very frustrating at times, especially when you were trying to raid. That was very frustrating. Another thing that was really annoying with FGL Pro was the rubber banding. The rubber banding made it so that getting to raids was very annoying, especially if it was like an X raid where you had to be there, and you could not miss the first wave, or else you wouldn't get your X raid done. That was very, very annoying. I have instances where I missed an X raid mainly because I was unable to get there without rubber banding back to my original location. My final gripe with FGL Pro is the fact that it only works on older devices. This is what I'm talking about is, of course, if you cannot downgrade below 12.6185, if you cannot downgrade below or at 12.6185 for Google Play services, you can't actually use it because, of course, Niantic will figure out that you're spoofing and then just proceed to ban you, or you'll get the error 11 or error 12, which means that you can't play the game, obviously. And it's very difficult to fix from then on, right? Once your phone updates past that certain point, you can't really downgrade past it. Once your factory version is above 12.6.85, you can essentially no longer use the application, which was very annoying. One of the cons with FGL Pro is that you actually had to mess with Google Play services. That in itself was, of course, a con for using FGL Pro, because it meant that whenever you used the application, your Google Play services would be downgraded, which meant you couldn't run certain apps. Like I had people tell me that they can't use YouTube and stuff like that because of course YouTube won't run unless you have the most updated version of Google Play, which essentially renders the entire phone useless, the one that you used to play Pokemon GO on. Which could be very annoying for some people, especially if you only have one phone, like myself. And of course, it meant that you had to mess with the phone's default settings, and messing with the default settings meant that you could crash your phone, you could break your phone. Obviously, if you're trying to root your phone for FGL Pro, you could break your phone. You could breach the warranty, meaning that you would have no backup if your phone died, which was very unfortunate for some people. And I know some people who had their phones die on them, and they were unable to use those phones because of FGL Pro, because of the process of trying to use FGL Pro, obviously. So, moving on, we're going to be talking about... Oh, I've never seen this Pokemon before. So we're going to be talking about PGSharp. Now, PGSharp is the application that I've been using for the last 2 weeks or so. Of course, I was fortunate enough to get a promotional code, or not a code. I got one of their key drops. I don't know how I did it. I maybe just won the lottery, because I've been getting a lot of complaints telling me to give out keys, of course, but I'm not swimming in cash. I can only give out a few. But yeah, this is the one that I've been using for the last 2 weeks or so, and it's been pretty impressive. I'll be honest with you. I've been pretty impressed with FGL Pro. So we're gonna go through the pros. One of my favorite pros actually is the no rubber banding. There's essentially no delay when moving the joystick, and there's no rubber banding to your original location at all. I have been at Pier 39 for the last 2 weeks, and I've never actually gone back to where I first came from, or to where my original location is. I've never actually had to go back there because it just never rubber banded. It never happened for me. Okay, that was a terrible, terrible throw. Of course, the no rubber banding does mean that raids are actually much, much smoother. It becomes very easy to access a raid and to do it, and just being confident that you won't get kicked out of a raid is really nice. That's super cool. Another thing that's really nice about PGSharp is the built-in IV checker. I know I didn't really showcase it there. Okay, I got an egg. But one of the things that I really like is the fact that you can click a Pokemon, you check whether it's shiny or not, and then boom, instantly gives you the IV, the attack, the defense, and I forgot the last step, but it doesn't matter. I think it's HP, yeah. It gives you the built-in IV checker, which means that you can actually, you can of course decide whether you want to catch your Pokemon based on the IV, right? So that's a really nice thing that was implemented. And yeah, I'm really glad that they did that. The other thing is the new update. I think it was 1.12.2, I'm not sure, I don't remember. But PGSharp updated like 2-3 days ago, and they added a Pokemon scanner, which was really cool. I'll actually, after I catch this Mudkip, I will do a demonstration of the built-in Pokemon scanner, because it's very, very useful, and it helped me complete my, I think it was Cresselia quest in like 4 hours, which was really nice. I used a combination of auto walk and things like that to do it. So first of all, we're going to go to check out the new feeds option for PGSharp. So as you can see here, there's one that's already defaulted. This is the 100 IV one. If you just press it, you'll get a feed for all the 100 IV Pokemon. It tells you the cooldown, the distance, and of course it gives you the IV, the level, CP, as well as the amount of time that you have to wait and the distance, right? So I love how it gives you the weight and height as well. That's really funny. Of course, if you want to teleport to a place, you press it. It gives you teleport, walk, or copy coordinates. Now, we're not going to do that because that's a 120-minute cooldown, so we're not going to do that. But I will show you the lengths to which you can actually separate your Pokemon and scan for ones that you need. Now, I remember one of the things that I needed for Cresselia was, I think it was Magnetite, obviously, and I couldn't find one anywhere, despite Pier 39 being a nest currently. There's a bunch of Magnetite everywhere. So what I did was, so you keep level at level 1, everything above level 1, obviously, which means all Pokemon. IV 0 to 100, which means all IVs. Distance unlimited. You can actually set this to like 10 kilometers, which would be nice. It makes it easier to sort out the Pokemon, but even if you scan for unlimited distance, it usually gives you ones that are closer to you. So if you go to Pokemon, and the one I needed was a Magnetite, so I went to Magnemite, or not Magnetite, what the hell? Magnemite. Click Magnemite, fuck. And then click save. We can call this Magnemite. I don't know if I spelled it wrong. Okay, Magnemite maybe. And then you press the search button. Boom! You get a bunch of things, or a bunch of results rather for Magnemite. Now these are all 120-minute cooldowns, obviously. and they're far away. But one of the things that you can do, of course, is change the distance, and then it'll give you ones that are closer. So really, really nice. And the way they do this, obviously, is they actually just, because lots of people use PGSharp, whenever someone catches a Magnemite, they'll just register. They'll put it into the database, and whenever someone checks for it, it will just come up, right? Pretty cool feature. Props to PGSharp for making this. One of the final ones, of course, is the fact that you don't need to download Google Play services or mess with the phone's default settings. This is a direct direct opposite to FGL Pro, where you had to uninstall Google Play services and then reinstall it with a older version. This does mean that you don't have to risk breaking your phone, and you can actually use all the rest of your apps on the phone with no problem, despite spoofing in Pokemon GO, right? So we're gonna go over the three cons to PGSharp. First of all, it's a paid app. It's $5 per month. I was actually thinking about. I will buy the PGSharp thing when my subscription ends, because I quite like the application. I think I'm very impressed with it. Obviously, I've said this multiple times, and I will continue to use it. So, yeah, it's paid. Unfortunately, it's $5. It's not that much, but for some people, if you cannot pay online, it might become very difficult. Second thing that I dislike is it's relatively new and susceptible to bugs. PGSharp is a relatively new application, and there haven't been many updates. So far, I haven't seen any bugs, which is very impressive, actually, for a super early application. But there is a susceptibility. Jesus Christ, I cannot say that word. That is doomed. To bugs, right? Because it's a new application. There's definitely a risk when using it. The third thing and the final thing that I dislike about PGSharp is the fact that it cannot be logged into with Facebook/Google accounts, which is actually a frustration that many other people share, because they of course have their accounts linked to Facebook and Google accounts and not Pokemon trainer accounts, unlike me, which I don't actually know why this one. I think this was an old account given to me by like a sponsor or something, but this account is linked to Pokemon trainer or whatever it's called, which is nice. That is a lot of Tentacruel. Holy, what is up with the spawns today, man? I'm just trying to roll some PokéStops. Ooh, Sunkern. And yeah, those are the differences, or pros and cons for each application. Now, I'll talk very quickly about which application you should use. If your phone is old, use FGL Pro. FGL Pro is free, which is the main reason you should be using it, and also because you can use it. PGSharp users should only be limited to people who cannot actually use FGL Pro, because FGL Pro is only meant for older phones, or not meant, but you can only... Wait, I've never caught a Sunkern before? Okay, that's weird. But you can't even physically use the older FGL Pro, right? So you're forced to use PGSharp. You're forced to use the $5 or get lucky with a code. And yeah, that is the comparison between FGL Pro and PGSharp. I recommend PGSharp over FGL Pro though, if you have a newer phone / older phone, or if you're just willing to pay $5. I mean, $5 for a month isn't that hard. Like you pay $15 for Netflix anyway, so you might as well. And yeah, that's it from me, guys. I will show you guys some of the new things that I've caught though. I finished Spirit Tome, obviously. I got Cresselia right there. I don't know, what else did I get? Oh, I got Shiny Bronzor, which was really nice, from the Cresselia quest, the throwback, the one I completed in 4 hours. I got a Shiny Skarmory, which I'm trying to find. Can I find it in time? Finished Bronzong, nice. There's a lot of these Pokemon that I just don't recognize anymore. Mainly because it's Gen 5 and I never played Gen 5. And yeah, I'm just unfamiliar with the Pokemon, right? Skarmory, Shiny Skarmory was a really nice catch. Just randomly popped up, clicked it, didn't recognize the color, was like, what the hell's happening? Caught it, boom, shiny. And yeah, that's it for the video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll probably get a video out by either next Wednesday or next Tuesday, depending on if there's anything. Maybe when the new raid comes out, I'll do that. But for now, that's it, guys. Happy spoofing. Best of luck. Stay safe out there, obviously. And yeah, goodbye, guys.